The idea of converting a van into a home on wheels has been very fascinating to me for a long time. In the beginning of 2020, I went to Germany to buy a Mercedes Sprinter with 200,000 kilometers. I imported it to Switzerland, and it took almost 3 months until all the paperwork was sorted and was finally allowed to drive. From here on, I documented everything, and this is the story of how it went. First, I had to rip out everything that was in the car previously. I had never really used tools before, so everything was a big challenge to me. Luckily, I got some help from my girlfriend Malin and her cousin Noah. Underneath the old floor, we found some rust spots that we had to take care of. Along the wheel wells, it was really bad, but with a lot of help from my neighbor, we managed to fix it. Next, I insulated everything and started planning the layout and electrical system. I used the jigsaw for the first time in my life to install the fan. Thanks, Dad, for all the help. To provide electricity, we glued a 150-watt solar panel to the roof. The project had only just started, but I couldn't wait any longer. I took my girlfriend to the first short road trip to the Swiss mountains. Okay, now back to the build. I invited some friends to work on the floor. It is so much more efficient to work together. I bought more wood, and from here it started to get really fun. Most of my friends never really used tools before either, so it was great to see how everyone improved on the build. At this point, the van was far from finished, but I started using it a lot to throw all the gear in the back and go bungee surfing with the boys. This bus has already brought so many good things to my life that aren't even connected to the original goal of the project. My brother found some time to help, and together we worked on the electrics. The bus slowly started to look less like a construction site and more like a tiny home. We took a break from the build and went on the first big road trip. It was incredible. We cut everything to size with a jigsaw, which worked well, but nothing really turned out straight. Nevertheless, it was quite exciting to see the cabinets come together, and it put a big smile on our face to see how they open and close. In summer, we drove to France for 2 weeks of surfing and exploring the Atlantic coast.
Summertime, summertime, love's in its prime. Summertime, summertime, everything's just fine.
Time to bring the interior to life with some color. Unfortunately, my friends had other things to do, so I had to build the kitchen on my own. I started to see it all come together, and I worked extra hard to make as much progress as possible before the next road trip.
Who are you counting on? Who are you leaning
My friends started studying, but nevertheless we found some time to go road tripping in France again. We had the best time ever.
Wintertime, blood in the snow. Wintertime, wintertime, release the need to know.
Then I tried to build drawers. I had to build them light, because I had to be careful that the bus doesn't get heavier than it's allowed. Somehow nothing turned out straight in the kitchen, and it took a lot of improvisation to make the drawers fit. But with the help of my mom, it worked out in the end. My grandma sewed curtains for me, and it started to get really cozy in the van.
When the cold winds blow strong, who are you leaning on? Low down valley, low down valleys, easy come, easy go.
It got cold and I decided to take on the biggest challenge of the build, installing a diesel heater.
Down to the river, there
We had to take down the fuel tank and install the fuel line. From there the fuel goes to a filter, then to the pump and finally to the heater inside of the bus. My brother asked me if I wanted to go on another road trip, and of course I couldn't say no. Towards the end of the van build, my motivation levels weren't the same as in the beginning anymore, so it took a lot of time to get things done. At this point it was already quite comfortable to live in the van, and all the most important features were working. But of course it still wasn't perfect. So we started spending some time working on small details and decoration, and I installed a basic safe to protect my camera gear. I don't know if the bus will ever be completely finished, there's always something to do, but I think for now I'll leave it as it is, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. To celebrate, Malin and I drove all the way to Galicia in Spain and then followed the coast back to France. I look back on the coolest project of my life, and I'm almost certain I will build a second bus sometime in the future. Finally, I want to thank everyone who helped me work on the build for making this project so special to me.